offensive line or wide receiver at 6 and 24 for the Browns? What's your sense there?
Most mocks I've been doing for the Browns, it's been one of each, right? And it could be in different orders. It's definitely going to depend on the availability. There's rumors at both offensive lineman and wide receiver going possibly, say, third to Arizona on the offensive line. The Giants could go either way there at 5. So with the Browns picking at 6, I think it's very much going to be about what is on the board, right? Is it somebody like Francis Mauigoa from Miami, the right tackle? Is it, a receiver like a Carnell Tate from Ohio State, a Mekhi Lemon from USC, Jordan Tyson from Arizona State? Could go either way, and it's really going to depend on how they feel, too, about the depth of the class and what's going to be available to them at 24. So I think the two picks are very much interconnected when it comes to, okay, what order are we going to do this in and who are we going to pick up?
Who do you like? Who do you have as your top couple wide receivers, top couple tackles?
So the top 3 wide receivers to me are pretty clear. It's in some order: Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, and Jordan Tyson. And they all have very different skill sets. I think they're very equally talented. Tyson obviously has some injury concerns, but he's very, very good when he's healthy. Lemon more of a shifty slot type. And Carnell Tate, as all the Ohio State fans back in Ohio know, is a great vertical threat, right? So it just kind of depends on what Todd Monken is looking to add to this offense when it comes to receiver. And then I think there's 2 pretty clear top tackles in this draft for me: Francis Mauigoa from Miami and Spencer Fano from Utah. I think Mauigoa is a little more of a developed pass protector right now. They're both really good run blockers. Fano really is an awesome run blocker who could use a little more strength in pass protection, but both very, very good players with high potential.
So if, say, Carnell Tate isn't there, could you see the Browns taking Mekhi Lemon as high as 6?
I think so. I think, honestly, other than, and we'll see what he officially measures in at, but other than being a little bit undersized, maybe 2 or 3 inches shorter than, the usual number 1 receivers, I think he's as skilled as any receiver in this class, really any player in this class. The route running is outstanding. The after-the-catch ability is outstanding. And even being undersized as he is, maybe 5'10", 5'11", and 200 pounds, really good in contested situations as well. He's tough as nails. He's tough to tackle. I mean, just everything about his makeup says he's a really darn good football player. He's just a little bit below average size. If you can overcome that, and he did at USC for sure, and winning the Biletnikoff and all that, he can absolutely be a really good player in this league.
All right, so let's turn our attention later in that first round. So those are the guys that basically would go 6. What are you looking at 24 relative to wide receiver? What are you looking at 24 relative to offensive line?
I think the names at wide receiver at 24 are probably going to be guys like Denzel Boston from Washington, who reminds me a lot of Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State last year, early second-round pick for the Houston Texans. Omar Cooper from Indiana has been getting a ton of buzz. He's a little bit like Lemon. I don't know that he's quite as explosive as far as straight-line speed, but he's a little bit like that as a slot weapon who can break tackles. Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, also you get him with explosive plays on offense and one of the best punt returners in this draft as well. And then when you look at offensive linemen, a little more fluid there. I think there's going to be a second wave of offensive linemen that go just, maybe outside the top 15, and we'll see how urgent teams are with it when you talk about a guy like Monroe Freeling, the tackle from Georgia, or even I think a player I really like at guard is Oregon's Emmanuel Pregnon. I think he could sneak into the first round and be a rock-solid starting guard on day 1 for somebody. But I think there's a very interesting run that's going to happen with that second group of offensive linemen. We'll see where it starts. It might start with the Browns at 24.
Could you see is the interior line a little bit stronger in the late first round, early second, and third round than maybe the tackles?
I would agree with that, especially even as you get into some of the day 2 picks, guys who are going to go in round 2 and 3. I think the interior offensive line, especially, we'll wait and see which of the tackles might end up playing guard eventually, but I think you have 2 guys that really stand out at the top of the interior class. Vengai Ioane from Penn State, and like I said, Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon I really like. But when you talk about if you're looking for a new center, a guy like Connor Lew from Auburn or Jake Slaughter from Florida could be had on day 2. I think the interior class really starts to heat up beyond those first 2 guys, really probably in the mid to late second round and beyond there.
Who are some guys there that would make some sense?
You're talking on day 2?
Yeah.
I think if you're, again, for the Browns, it's almost easier because you could go any of them, right? They're replacing the entire offensive line. So, again, Connor Lew and Jake Slaughter, 2 really good centers that are like Chase Basantis from Texas A&M, a former tackle who kicked to the inside at A&M. You can really tell he's got tackle's feet and he's sound in pass protection, right? You have so many interior guys in there that you think about. And just Jalen Farmer from Kentucky is a guy who's got a lot of hype lately. Billy Schrouth from Notre Dame is a good rock-solid guard. I think could turn into a starter as a probable round 3 pick. So plenty of interior options. And again, I think for the Browns, just wait and see where the board falls. And I'm curious to see what Todd Monken, which guys he thinks will fit their system the best.